entire process from the start next time. Instead of seeming hesitant like I expected, he readily agreed. It took another couple years before I realized that Mr. Taylor must have known all along that I'd be good at cleaning the remnants of dead bodies. He'd wanted me to walk in that night and find him and his partners. It chilled me to the bone sometimes to think about the fact that had my reaction been different than it was, who knows what would have happened. I'd like to think he wouldn't have harmed me, but who really knows? I hadn't seen Mr. Taylor in years, and word was he'd come into some money and left for somewhere down south. I didn't believe that's what really happened to him, but regardless if he was living large or buried several feet underground, he helped shape me into the man I was today. Some called me the cleanup man. Others called me their saving grace. However, most referred to me and my crew as the drifters, the ones who moved from place to place to dispose of dead bodies and clean up crime scenes. Like lurkers in the dark, the true color of our personality was only revealed when we were in our element, surrounded by decaying flesh. We were more reliable than a crackhead showing up at the dealer's doorstep. We were there when you needed us, and thanks to custom black leather masks, no one ever saw our faces. That was the difference between how I ran my crew versus how Mr. Taylor did back in the day. He'd wanted everyone in Chicago to know he was the man to call to clean up their mess. But unlike him, my last name put a weight on my shoulders that most would crumble under if scrutinized with the bright light folks shone on my family. Crowne Enterprises had a hand in so many different entities in the city and beyond that no one could ever pinpoint how the Crownes had made so much of their money. We were ruthless in business, and even more ruthless off the books. It didn't matter that I hadn't been born a Crowne, though. Most of us hadn't. Yet my family wasn't the only reason I kept my shit under wraps. Looking down at the message on my phone stating 3 had been murdered on Chicago's North Side in Rogers Park, I had to hold back my smile. Contrary to what some may think about the man behind the mask, I didn't enjoy hearing that another life was taken, for whatever the cause may be. For me, the reason I smiled when my broker sent me a message about a cleaning job was simple. I loved to clean shit up. Accepting the job was a no-brainer, so I shot the message back quickly stating I'd be there in 20 minutes. According to the news this morning, several large cities hit a record number of murders last night, Chicago included. But those were only the ones the public knew about. The city was changing. Hell, the nation was changing. Folks didn't know who to trust. And those in power to make a difference were scared to push the limit in fear for their own life or the lives of their loved ones being taken without just cause. My team was spread across Illinois and Indiana on jobs, so today I was on my own for another couple hours. Unless I talked Creed or Hollis into meeting me to offer some assistance. Problem was, those fools could shoot a motherfucker without blinking, but dealing with all the blood, organs, and mutilated bodies of corpses had them making too many damn faces of disgust when they helped. Farrell was too well known in the streets, so we kept him away from the shit I did. My other siblings were irrelevant when it came to this mess since they had more public-facing jobs and they weren't in Chicago right now no way, which only left Jedediah, the one who was even more numb to dead bodies than I was. I knew he was my best bet at not spending too long on today's job, but he'd just gotten back from a 6-day mission that I didn't even want to know the details on. Jedediah was the enforcer in the family and the one that was often sent to inflict the fear of God on our enemies, and make sure our frenemies knew not to fuck us over. In a lot of ways, I guess he and I shared a special bond because we handled the messy shit that our siblings didn't want to deal with. Problem today was, Jedediah had a certain process he followed to decompress after a job, and if you fucked with his process, you'd regret it. The motherfucker already didn't talk that much, but when he was in a mood, we all had to steer clear of him. Now that he was older, he was a little better at handling shit, but back in the day, more than a few dead bodies turned up when Jedediah popped off in a way only he could. Silent and cold-blooded. Once I was in my car headed to the location, I called Jedediah. I figured it may go to voicemail, but he answered on the 4th ring. "Hello?" I said when I was met with silence and not even a damn hello. "Jay, you there?"
"Talk."
I got straight to the point. 3 bodies in Rogers Park need handling. My team is booked. Can you spare a couple hours?
"No."
His answer was so quick I almost didn't catch it. "Bruh, the owner of the home is returning in 3 hours. You know I need more time than that."
"You've disposed of 5 bodies in less than an hour."
"You good?" He wasn't lying, but I reminded him that I'm thorough, and if that job would have allotted more